The US empire runs on a system of perpetual debt. Spend lots of money and have your creditors buy up your garbage debt. As long as this Ponzi scheme continues, the economic system continues to churn. But what happens when countries and investors stop buying? You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Today, we have big news. America's biggest creditors dump US Treasuries. We're going to get into that today. I'm going to show you several charts which show that. A lot of these contain much of the same data, but I wanted to show you it in different ways so you can see that for yourself, beginning with this article. America's biggest creditors dump treasuries in warning to Trump. Japanese investors call U.S. government debt by most since 2013. Currency hedged returns were the worst on record last quarter. The worst on record. In the age of Trump, America's biggest foreign creditors are suddenly having second thoughts about financing the U.S. government. What I would say is that you have fluctuations all the time. There are some months when you think the world is about to end, and then the next month everything changes. So we can't overreact to this, but we need to understand that we develop trends. That's what we need to look at month after month after month. If we see the same data and we see how it escalates, then we start to make our judgments. But things happening, overnight generally are not what we should be focusing on. But let's take this as it is and keep our eyes very close. So let's get into the charts. China Treasury holdings. Look at this here. An extremely steep decline is occurring right now. If you look actually in previous declines that have occurred, just as an example, here, even here, it's not as steep as we have seen right now. That's what's important to note for this. Here at the bottom, you could see as well the 6-month change. A definite decline, and it's going back. We haven't had this. This chart goes back to 2000, and we haven't seen that sort of depth since at least that time. So what China is doing exactly, I'm not sure. Now, you can see the values here. We're going back a few years, but when you look at it, it did climb significantly over those years. So we as I said, we can't overreact. Let's move on here to this. Japanese investors' monthly net purchases of sovereign bonds and U.S. Treasuries versus others. Again, a significant decline, and this chart goes back to 2012. In fact, a significant decline regardless, as you can see. And then on the right chart, you can see the different months, basically August through December, and you will note that it is down significantly since then as well. Now, it happens to be Japanese investors' net purchases of DM sovereign bonds per month for selected markets. Japanese investors' monthly and weekly net purchases of foreign long-term debt securities, right? And you see, no doubt, the trend declining downwards. And this has been for the past 6 months or so. But again, we have seen these type of drops occurring, and they pick up and they go down. But this is definitely with significance at this time. When you are getting into debt of a country, generally, these are seen as safe investments. If you believe that things are looking up and things will be better, then these type of investments tend to not do as well. And that could be part of this, that if Japan thinks that, look, Trump is getting into office, everything is going to do great, the stock market's going to rise, they're going to put their money more into equities rather than into the fixed income category in this case. More selling to come. Net change in foreign ownership of U.S. Treasuries. Here again, you could see that decline. Annual USD change in U.S. Treasuries among foreign holders. Remember, this here in particular isn't Japan or China, but just foreign holders in general. And this Tokyo tantrum. Japanese investors sell the most U.S. debt since 2003's taper tantrum. So these are important to note. What I would say once again is that we will watch it and we will be paying very close attention comparing the stock market, U.S. equities, versus what's happening with treasuries. We note that since Trump has been into office, there has been a fairly significant increase in the U.S. stock market. We could see the Dow Jones at 20. We can see all of these different things that have occurred, which are very bullish. At the same time, we have instability. We have that sort of civil unrest which has occurred, the protests and everything. This could bring on a very big problem. We don't have to necessarily look at the U.S. equity markets to determine exactly how the economy is doing, because we know that isn't the case. We have all the facts that we need that have shown a absolute rotting of the economy, the real economy, which has been going on for a significant amount of time. I mean, look at basically any chart from the year 2000 and onward, and you see the dismal activity which has occurred. Things can change over the years. There's no doubt about that. We see bull markets and bear markets, and they always occur at any given time. What I would note is that when you look at the cycles which go over time, you see approximately, I mean, these are approximates, but approximately every 7 to 8 years or so, there is some sort of recession or depression. And at this time, clearly, we are overdue. So even if things were just normal, quote unquote normal, we should expect one to happen. Now, is this the big daddy? Is this the one we've all been waiting for? The global economic collapse? I'm not sure about that. That's coming at some point. It could be triggered on by several things. It could be a derivatives collapse. It could be some sort of major full-scale war. I mean, there are countless reasons why we could enter a global economic collapse. But what I would say is that we need to simply stick to the basics, have our fundamentals in place, and be prepared. If you found this video informative, then please give me a thumbs up. Last but not least, if you found the video informative, I know that you will find my book, The Money GPS, even more informative. So you can look through the book. If you go to Amazon, they have a look inside feature that will allow you to flip through the pages of the book and see if you like it. Take care.